Hello, welcome to this week's chat. We've got Matteo from Shout of Action, from Shout Out UK, and we're from Wave of Action. We didn't do a chat last week because we were all preoccupied with Matteo and Patrick's pre-screening of the New and On documentary, which was fantastic. Tell us a little bit about it, Matteo.
Yeah, no.
You've had a busy week, haven't you?
Oh God, I mean, you could probably say that again. We last week was it was quite amazing actually. The turnout was really good, considering that we marketed it like what, about a week before the actual screening, and then we stopped marketing it halfway and everything else, and we just got preoccupied by the youth leaders debate and all the rest of it with ITN. So it was manic, but they are really good reviews. Really good reviews. We had the a representative from Channel 4 there who absolutely loved it. We had the New Statesman there who really liked it. We had a couple of academics randomly who apparently really liked it as well. We got a load of reviews coming out as well this week and next. So looking forward to seeing those, although maybe not. We'll see what kind of reviews we get. But no, it went really well. It turned out really well. This picture was really clear. So no complaints. But then I would say that. I
couldn't resist getting down there.
Huh?
I couldn't resist getting down there to watch it. Because it was my birthday. It was my. I loved it, but yeah. I know the people in it, so it was quite nice just to see them. You know.
So what was?
I was sat next to.
What was your favourite?
I was sat next. Well, I asked like. The beginning bit with Zumi's like introduction, love that, because it was like before the actual documentary started. And then when Mickey was trying to put this leaflet up and it just kept falling back down again. Yeah, you can have that. When it just kept falling back, I was sat next to Mickey. And Mickey was sat there like that, and it was just like that made me laugh. But like seeing the kids in it, though some people did think they were drinking wine. Okay, well, stop.
Yeah,
that's okay. Yeah, they were. Yeah, somebody made a comment at the back, but that was they were drinking juice, and you can see the difference in colour between our drinks and their drinks. And even if they were drinking wine, plenty of kids in France.
You could have also stated that I was also drinking juice. That would have been good.
The bit me pointing to the splatters, I had to point out the splatters on the wall of when I liquidised the dinner. But Mickey was saying it's come dine with me, come dine with Anne on it. That's what Mickey was saying.
The footage on sorry, go on.
I was going to say the only thing I loved it. Would like you can only get so much into half an hour, you know, and I know that you took so much more, and I hope that when you like release it and it's online or whatever you're doing, on the the Million Men page, maybe you put a few little clips in that never made the film just to promote the release.
Well, yeah, I mean,
some people didn't make it, did they?
No, I mean, it was a bit of a sad one, really, because we only had enough budget to make a short, you know, a 30-minute thing, you know, with editing, sound mixes, and all the rest of it. So it's a bit of a sad one where we had a lot of footage. We could have shot more. To be honest, the amount we had, we could have made a feature, you know, about an hour long, but we just didn't have the funds for it. So it was to the point where we had to make something that's really good, high quality of a 30-minute one, or we stretch it and it looks terrible. So it was just.
It's put together well.
I mean, no, I think we were really proud of it, and people in there loved it. You know, it looked. I mean, yeah. At least they seem like they loved it.
I'm so excited. I want to see it.
It was so funny as well because me and Patrick nearly missed our own screening because we were at the time we were in ITN with Channel 4 doing this youth leaders debate. By the way, we were trending in the UK. We were the 6th biggest conversation in the UK.
Yay!
Nice.
Okay, so happy for that. But
isn't it disgusting that you had that youth leader debate and none of the papers have really picked up and promoted the young politicians.
We had the exact same thing. We said the exact same thing, me and Patrick. It's disgusting that not a single paper covers it. Because, I mean, it was obvious. There's a reason why. You know, it's positive. It's involving young people. It's not negative, and it's about politicians. So of course they're not.
You know what I need to do? The same things happen. The links have not gone up on Wave of Action, and it's not coming up on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, The Independent did cover it though. The Independent did. Prior to it, they had about a quarter of a page talking about the youth leaders debate before the actual debate on Sunday. Sunday.
Let us not forget, at one point, your youth leader debate was the only debate that was going to have all 5 parties in it.
Yeah.
You know, for a long time, cowardly Cameron.
Yeah, because Cameron backed out. Well, he did back out and then went back in afterwards and said, I'll do one debate and all the rest of it. So ours was the only one. I mean, what I can happily say is that ours is the only online debate that went off, because The Guardian tried to do one, Telegraph tried to do one, BuzzFeed tried to do one, they all failed. So frankly, they're probably jealous. But I mean,
this election has been mad. I don't know if have you all heard that "Sick of This Shit" song?
Yeah, we got tweeted in it.
Yeah, that's got to number 88 on Amazon chart. You know, yeah. Okay.
They wanted to get.
I think we should get another share.
But I think that there's been lots of quite creative and different protests this thing, and I don't know if you lot all read about Scotland. The polls yesterday were suggesting that the SNP will win every single seat in Scotland, and that's quite amazing. Yeah, 56 seats I think it is.
Considering as well that when they did the yes/no vote, it was the highest rated, the voting, wasn't it? That
it was about 80% voting turnout or 90% voter turnout, which is really high for Britain. Our voting system normally gets 50% if it's a good day and people feel good.
Yeah.
Maybe 60%, but I mean never over 80, and 90 is insane. But I mean the Scots have always been really political. I mean they've always been really switched on, more so than anybody else in the rest of the country. I mean they've always been quite political. And frankly, I mean, come on, you're voting if your country's going to gain its independence. Of course you're going to vote. It's a huge change.
Always been Westminster, so they've always been that kind of anti-English, haven't they? They've always hated the English, so it's forced them into being political.
Yeah, it's that what's it called? William Wallace kind of attitude, That Braveheart kind of through the English. But no, it's been a massively busy 2 weeks down our end anyway. I mean, as I was saying, the Anonymous documentary went really well, although we nearly came late to it. Patrick was actually the last person to arrive, because when we were at ITN doing the youth leaders debate, there was a load of issues with the videos, so we had to stay behind. One of us had to, so I rushed off, but I left at the last minute, and I didn't know where to go, so I had to get black cabs are insanely expensive, by the way.
Yeah, but they go by the meter, don't they?
Well, not just that. That meter seems fixed. I was literally, because I had no idea where the screener is. I have no idea where the cinema was, and I had about 10 minutes to get there, so I thought, screw it. I was looking up and down the cab. The only cabs that were around central London were black cabs, so I got one, and it was about, I don't know, 5 minutes down the road, £30.
Really?
Disgusting.
Yeah, that's really bad.
It was ridiculous. When you're rushed and you just don't have time to argue, because the screener was about to start and there were loads of people outside. I saw Mickey and everybody else waiting outside, wondering what the hell was going on.
God, that's way over that is.
Huh?
Sounded like that taxi driver went in dry.
Yeah. Oh. I don't even want to think about it. I'm just putting that was on an expense of the film. But no, I mean, I was happy the way it went.
Over the drive.
Huh?
But you got the proper screening the end of May, hopefully.
Yeah, but June. End of May, June, depending on
Oh,
how quickly we can get hold of a parliamentarian afterwards. Because after 7th of May, I want to get hold of one, and then have the screening in Parliament, have the official one. So we can get everybody there, get some press there, and actually get some proper coverage, which will be nice. But that's going to be end of May, latest June. But we've got another event in June, so we don't want to stick too close together. And then the youth leaders debate went off really, really well. I mean, the speakers I think were pretty good, apart from the Lib Dem. Did anyone watch it, by the way?
I am going to watch
what was-
it. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. I've got it marked, and I've
Leaders
got
debate.
your.
Oh, the Lib Dem was. No, I'm not even going to go into it. He's just. Yeah. Everybody else.
I see,
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
Someone made
paper, huh?
cards. Someone made some leaders Pokemon cards. I shared them to Wave. They chuckled me. They made me laugh. Yes, Pokemon card leader cards, and they're quite funny. I think David Cameron's most powerful attack was his long-term economic plan. To talk about it so long, it could be the enemy.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
Did you see the leader pets?
No.
Leader.
No.
Basically, there's this organisation that we interviewed their founder a while ago, and basically they were making. You remember Tamagotchis?
Yeah.
Like Furbies and that, yeah. Basically, they made this computer game with an app. I don't know if it's released yet. It might be. Where basically you can have one of the leaders, one of the 7, and feed them and take care of them, and then they'll talk to you and tell you their policies. And it was weirdly hilarious. And like when you feed them, for example, Ed Miliband, you feed him a bacon sandwich.
Oh god, he's awful at eating that one, weren't he? Have you seen that new little video they've done of him? That video clip where they've done Careless Whisper, slow motion to his eyes flicking and him looking all lovingly into the screen. It's fucking creepy. It is horrible.
Yeah.
Fandom, that is creepy. Half the country falling in love with Ed Miliband.
Yeah, well, it is.
What?
And why does
What about
politics come down to that? How good looking somebody is.
Well, because it's like
You know,
America.
you can be.
That's why.
You can be a.
Go on.
People
what about
voted for
someone-
Tony Blair on that premise, and look what they got. A mass murder.
Yeah. Oh, it's insane though when you think about it. But that's American politics. That's what American politics is all about: the leader and his perception, rather than actually what he's saying.
Did anyone see him with
Obama
Russell
got
Brand?
elected mainly because he's charismatic.
Did anyone see him with Russell Brand? The interview.
Oh no, I need to watch that as well. That's on my saved list as well. What actually happened?
Do you know what happened, yeah? Do you know what happened, yeah? He seemed to just bend over to Ed Miliband. He was not brutal with him. Like, obviously, Ed Miliband was just spewing like BS as the politicians do. But Russell Brand, he absolutely annihilated him, and he didn't. He went in fully lubed up. He should have gone in dry, and he didn't go in dry. I was disappointed.
You're innuendos.
Sorry.
I mean, what actually happened? So what? Russell Brand and Ed Miliband had a chat.
Yeah.
Ed Miliband went round and did a truce with Russell Brand, and Russell Brand interviewed him.
Seriously?
And actually, I thought that at least he admitted that there was a lot of fucking problems, like with Rupert Murdoch, with people not paying their taxes. He did answer those questions.
Well,
You know,
that's nice.
but he is a politician that, yeah, but you know, at this time of year, you'd expect them to like sweep them under the carpet and just answer them. I mean, I've seen Ed Miliband be interviewed on a TV show, and they asked him a question, and every time he just kept saying the same answer that he said before, which was the pre-spun bullshit he was told before, even if it was totally irrelevant to the question that he was asked. He was being asked about the strikes, but he just skirting the issue and repeating the spin. So he did answer a bit more, but you could tell that he was wincing, not wanting to upset the hand that feeds him either.
Of course.
You know, he didn't want to upset these businesses.
I mean, you got to remember
can't
that
say
Russell
things
Brand's
like
lucky because he is the hand that feeds him. He owns the money. He owns the money that controls him.
Yeah.
So he's
can't
lucky
say
in that
it's
sense.
And
careless
afterwards, Rupert Murdoch didn't like the conversations that them two were having, and he's been tweeting, and then hence the stories that you've had in the Sun, because Ed Miliband and Russell Brand laid into him a bit. More Russell Brand than Ed.
I had to have a go at this because that is exactly the problem with British society. If you want just to blame one thing, that is it. The fact that Rupert Murdoch can then go online and say, you know what, I don't tell my journalists what to write. Bullshit. The fact that the Sun casually has all these headlines afterwards, what? It's just a happy coincidence that their owner gets slagged off on a chat show, and then suddenly all the Sun keeps attacking the chat show host. It's ridiculous. I don't see how that guy's not in jail. But
only a certain amount, 3% of the population are watching True's News, and the rest of it is watching BBC News and reading the Sun. Because he's not really the 99%, is it? We were talking about this the other day. We're not 99%. We're about 3% of the 99%. The other 96% literally run around doing what they're told to do. There's only 3% of us actually fighting.
Well, if the 99% were actually fighting, this society would have collapsed yesterday.
Yep, and Conservatives most certainly wouldn't have a seat the next time.
Well, I mean, the Conservatives are I mean, the sad part. I mean, the sad part of this election, I'd say, is that if you remember, like, it's historic. You know, if you look about the interwar years during the rise of the fascist movement, you know, you had similar forms of inequality during that time. You know, you had huge amounts of wealth going to the rich, the poor just getting poorer, the middle class getting annihilated, and the left, or rather the 99%, or you know what Occupy and so people can try to portray, could have organised and whatnot, and society could have changed then, but it didn't, and it led to the Second World War. Why? Because the right and the rich found a way of manipulating poor working class individuals into blaming everything on race, thinking that nationalism was the way forward, etc., etc., and that was what gave birth to fascism, which is what you're seeing right now. All these right-wing nutters are joining EDL, these kind of racist groups, because it's easier. That conversation is easy. You know, if someone that hasn't had much understanding of the world and they want an easy explanation, it's easier to say, you know what, it's that brown kid down the road that has stolen your job. That's the reason why you're in trouble.
The thing is, it's done very cleverly, because you think psychologically it's no different from what we do to children. It's like, if my daughter asks me for something and I say no, she'll ask me in a different way to try and change it. But they're doing exactly that, aren't they? It's like you put a yellow star on somebody with a disability or of Jewish religion, then you're a Nazi. You put a wristband on somebody with mental health issues and you're a Tory. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're doing it exactly the same. There is no difference to what they're doing. They're just like the fluoride in the water, everything that he did back then, you know, apart from we're not strapping them down with leather straps and things like that. We've got better methods. We can medicate. Medication replaced lobotomies and things like that a long time ago. We should never expect the same sort of treatment as what Hitler did. That was the Dark Ages. Now we're in the New Age. They're going to use New Age technology and ways, which is medication.
Well, it's not just that. I think it's this idea that during the interwar years, you know, the rise of Nazism and so forth, people had, well, Hitler had control over the people to an extent, but he needed fear as well as civil society to control people. At the moment, I mean, we've moved further and further away from physical control, and now what we're seeing is a society strictly controlled by civil society. The papers, the media, it's all about the mind as opposed to physical. That's what the police realistically, I mean, yes, the police get violent sometimes, but I mean, compared to China and other places, the police are harmless here. Because
they
they don't need to. They will destroy you in the media and they will assassinate your character, which is more powerful than killing you as a person. And that's what they discovered. Because back then, if you look far enough, people, if you revolted, you'd be hanged. Then they went on to something else, and then they went on to imprisonment. Now they've realized that the most effective thing is to just destroy your character. Because nobody respects you.
Isn't that the problem? Is we'll never change that, and I can vouch for this one because I've been in the middle of it. You can't change that while there's activists still behaving in that exact same manner as the politicians. They destroy each other without a thought for the other person. They destroy groups, they destroy pages, they bring down movements just for personal issues, or but they do it in a way where they assassinate your character so badly there's no coming back from it. That's no different from the way the politicians and corporations work.
Well, I mean, exactly. The thing I would say also is that that has always been the problem of the left. That if you look at left-wing movements across the globe, the only ever successful movement was in Russia during the Russian Red Revolution through Lenin. And I have to say this because that was the only successful one, and the reason for it is because they finally managed to put aside their differences. The strongest movement, the Bolsheviks at the time, put all the resources behind them and then push that one movement. Whereas look at Britain today, for example. In the left, what do you have? You've got the Green Party, you've got the SNP, you've got Plaid, you've got Occupy, you've got Left Unity, you've got the TUCS, you've got the random communist parties that apparently still exist. You've got tons of different left-wing movements that are consistently splitting the vote, getting their little the little hills, and defending their spheres of influence. On the right, all you have is all the conservatives.
The thing is, you just named a load of brands.
All right, see ya.
Right, see you in a bit, guys. I'll see you later.
See you later.
See you later. You just named a load of brands there, really. You've got the Green Party, the SNP, the Occupy, and things like that. And they're so busy protecting their brand and their name and what they're achieving that neither of them want to give and lose themselves in somebody else's campaign, and that's the biggest problem that we face. That's why we're not getting there.
That's what I found has been the bonus with Wave of Action. We've been allowed to take part in each of those movements. We can go and take part in Antifa, we can go and take part in Occupy, we can go and take part in Anonymous, we can take part in all these movements and have no bias towards them all. Because that was what originally, obviously, in itself, that's what we all need to do, come together. The problem with that also is you look at it and you take one big mass movement, yes, you can defeat something better, but they can also defeat you quicker while you're one big mass movement. They can take out a few. While we've got these little ones going together, there's nothing wrong with them being little molehills or whatever, but it'd be cool if they could all bring the molehills together into some hollows and hills and at least be in one same place, rather than getting caught up on issues that really don't matter. One might think that something should be in place after, and the other might, so they'll just divide just because of that issue.
I mean, for me, I think it is a problem that there are molehills, and I think that is partly the reason why there is a problem. Because if you look at UKIP, all the money, although they obviously will always have a lot more than the left because they are the ones in power, all their money goes into one pot so they can administer it and deal with a campaign that has thousands and thousands of pounds. And let's not kid ourselves, that is effectively what will change society we live in. You do need money, you do need resources to actually fight something like this. It's like fighting the system within itself. And if you look at all these molehills, say they all had, just for argument's sake, let's say they all had £100 and there was 10 of them. So 10 movements, £100 each. £100 will get you nothing in a campaign. But if you suddenly started putting all that money together, putting all these little bits together, it suddenly starts to become a movement worth reckoning with.
The problem is we're going on situation issues now that the government themselves is creating, the departments themselves are creating. It's like me and P have got a friend online who literally in one breath completely slandered the person who broke the window at the Brixton rally, and in the second breath is holding the hands up and saluting Baltimore. So
see, I was going to talk about Brixton. If we go back to Brixton, and this is the big problem, when all these molehills come together, they have to respect different diverse tactics. And just because somebody does something that you don't necessarily agree with doesn't mean that you have to go to the press and call them idiots and things like that. You know, we would all like to go and bang tambourines in Parliament Square tomorrow and change the world. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If all of us went down there, banged our tambourines, and then we woke up the next day, it was fantastic. We would love that. But unfortunately, we are fighting a system that can be quite brutal, and we'll fight. You know, the police will shoot back and attack you.
Me and P were in the middle of it at our last march. We got totally taken out by the police, the pair of us together. It was awful.
Yeah, but you see, I mean, that's why I think an example like what happened in Russia, and I know it's probably not a great example now because of all the rubbish that went around it, and all the rubbish that came afterwards, but if you look at that revolution, the way that they managed to do it, and Lord knows how they managed to organize it all, but they were all splinter movements, a little bit like you've got here. You know, you got the more radical, more violent sects. Then you've got the ones that actually work within the system. I mean, the Bolsheviks at a time, just before the revolution, they had people marching through the streets, protesting peacefully. They had gangs that were actually more aggressive, just trashing stuff up. They had leafleters. They had politicians. The point is that all of these movements that do all these different things, it's not so much what they do, it's the fact they all funnel that media attention and that attention of what they're trying to do into one similar cause, which for them at the time was something they call, you know, peace, bread, and land, because those are the three things that the Russian people generally wanted. So they narrowed down what they were trying to do, because, I mean, they all said, you know, we've got all these other list of grievances, but what are the three things that people all together can agree to saying, yes, these are what we need? Peace, because they're at war with the Russians. Bread, because they had no food because they were starving. And land, because all the land was owned by the king, the Tsar. So for them, they managed to find out. So I think it's more to do with the fact that there is no common cause at the moment. That everyone's off doing their own causes, but there is no one cause, one issue that everybody can say, you know what?
It's got to be freedom, isn't it? It's got to be freedom.
Well, whatever it is, it's got. I mean, peace, bread, and land is catchy. I think that was part of the problem. Is it's got to be, you know, It has to be something that people can say, you know what? I mean, yes, I care about this other issue, the NHS, whatever, but I can also stand by this other one. And then everybody in Britain that hasn't, you know, the 99% can all say, yes, I stand by that. And I think that's the problem. Is there is no common goal.
Yeah, and when there is, when people are alert to it, less people are actually. There's not many people out there that can talk about all groups the same. Do you know what I mean? It's not often at all. You've got some very stubborn groups out there.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the problem as well, is that people's egos. I'm sure that some of the people that run some of these groups are doing it not for the movement, but because they feel like they're somebody, because there are people following them. It's an ego trip. I'd say.
Yeah, most definitely. Because this is the thing, when you're walking along, you do kind of get that feeling when you go into the groups. I won't name any, but certain ones you'll go into, and you definitely feel like, oh, you're being judged the minute you walk in there on what side you're on and what you're doing and what you think and how violent you are, how laid back you are. Everything is put into. You are judged. It is a total lie. Left wingers judge you every day. They judge you constantly on what your thoughts are, how you feel that the revolution should be had, or whether it's a revolution or an evolution, how spiritual you are, what kind of, and you cannot please them all. There is absolutely no way to please them all because they are all so diverse. But they're also.
That's part of the acceptance that we have to accept that we are diverse. Yeah. You know, even if we was to change everything and change the entire system, you would still have people that would want more than other people. You would still have people that have certain points of view, and you'd still have different sorts of characters. We'd still have, you know, that's not going to go away just because you change the system. You have to adapt a system that can accommodate all of the different ideas. You know, no one idea that's a dictatorship. For one idea to be over the other is a dictatorship. You have to take into account diversity and the free will of people.
But they don't know, do they? They won't move aside and go, well, yeah, that idea is really good. I prefer mine, but I'll walk to the end. Do you know what I mean? Because realistically, it is true, no man is free while another man is in chains. It just simply isn't. So while one's fighting, because you look at the unions, a lot of the unions, once they've got their pay rise, are they going to fight for the disabled? Are they going to fight for racism? Are they going to fight this fight that everyone looks like they... No, they're not. They're not at all.
I mean, you know what I think also the other problem, of course, is that it's, all these people preach, of course, you know, acceptance and equality and a better world, but how can you accept a better world when all you do is judge your peers?
Yeah, and so much judgment there. So much judgment there.
And
I find it really hard with activists. I think that they expect me to judge them on levels, and they put their judgments of what they, you know, obviously you've heard it from people before, you know, and they put their perceptions of what they think I'm thinking onto me, when actually I haven't really got any issues. You know, I get more hassle from other people's made-up thoughts than I do from my own. Do you understand what I mean? You know, people are forever projecting onto me how they think I'm thinking, without ever disclosing, you know, asking me what I am thinking, because I'm a bit of an oddball, and you probably wouldn't figure out my thoughts at all. Like, I don't get arsey with people in the way that
she looks like that all the time.
Well, I'll tell you, I'd be more honest.
That's just what she looks like. She constantly looks like that. People are like, oh, she looks pissed off. No, she don't. She's smiling.
Can you see her teeth? Is she snarling? No, she's happy.
I love it. We like chalk and cheese. Walk down the street. She's all like fucking woman on a mission, Xena the princess warrior, no flowers in that woman's hair. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got me bouncing along every waif and stray, taking me out at the post. It's good.
I mean, I don't really judge people. If you're a Tory and you're cutting things and you know, causing destruction in society, then I kind of think I will judge you on that. But on a personal one-to-one level, you know, some stuff that you do will float my boat, some won't. But I don't really want to live your life for you.
But are you really judging
them? My own life.
Are you really judging them, or are you giving them an opinion? Because judgment at the end of the day is condemning somebody to what the consequences are, isn't it? So you're really still only just having an opinion. Judgment is when somebody takes an opinion and makes consequences out of it. You judge them. Yeah. You sentence them, basically. So an opinion isn't a judgment.
I mean, yeah, I was going to say is that human beings judge others all the time. You know, that jealousy and all those kind of things are in our nature to an extent. You know, this society brings that out more so in us. And I guess that for activists, it's also a matter of, you know, you're doing this fight for whatever reason you're doing it, and it's pushing you to the fringes of society, because society does push away people that fight against it. And that, you know, pushes people to become more paranoid, pushes people to become more egotistical, because if you don't have what society says you should have, i.e., you know, money and the rest of it, that's what society tells you, oh, well, that's how you judge your success, then people tend to, if they need that kind of comfort, go for other things. What else can you have? Well, you've got that ego of, well, you know, I run this movement that has however many hundreds of people in there. And if someone else comes along and say, well, let's pool our resources for the greater of the revolution, they might be like, well, why? Why should I give it up?
But also somebody raised a good point, is how many activists are actually career activists in the way that they aren't, they're passionate about the issues, but they're actually more trying to get a job in it, like writing on it, or like you were saying, like ego-based. They're trying to build up their own personal profile beyond the issues. You know, the issues will then take a second step as they're just like carrying on their career. Or I guess writing's important as well.
I mean, I would say it's a job like any other. You know, I mean, if you look at politicians, for instance, who are a good example. You know, a fair few are career politicians. You know, they'll do anything for money, and then there are others that are really in there because they genuinely care. And I've met a few of them. But how do you determine how many of these politicians we have in the UK at the moment are good, or are actually in there for the cause, or how many of them are corrupt as hell? You know, if you believe the Sun, they're all corrupt. If you are not so negative, you might think 4 or 5, or maybe even a small percentage are not corrupt. You know, so I think it's a weird one.
There needs to be a lot more involvement again from the people. And the same thing as well, what was it? They were saying the Freedom of Information Act. You know, the people seem to think that they have this democracy, they seem to think they have this free will, this law of the land, whatever. They seem to think that. But, you know, when you ask the commoner person from the kingdom who owns these banks and this kind of thing, the people own them. The people own them. That's what you get back, didn't you? No, that goat leg owns them, right? That woman who sits on a golden throne, right, owns the Bank of England, along the nominations and stuff. Where's the Freedom of Information Act on the nominees for the Bank of England? Because I bet you not one common person owns it.
Of course not. I wouldn't mind having
we should be running these things ourselves. These are our matters. The democracy, financial, monetary, economy, those kind of things. We should have more say in it. Way more say in it. They've got.
But that's kind of worldwide, isn't it? Well, that's worldwide. Most people think like the Federal Reserve and the Bank of England are like government buildings. A lot of people think that. I mean, nowadays probably a lot less because it's getting out there, the information. But a few years ago, you said, yeah, you would think that you wouldn't think it was a privately run separate. Everything's like mentioned together, so it was designed to give the illusion of being a government.
Well, they were civil servants,
a Bank of England.
They were civil servants to the common person and to the kingdoms, blah blah blah, whatever. That's what we even need to go before that. But right now we're back to where we were. We're commoners. That's how we're being treated. We're commoners. We're no better to them than that. We're not people or civilians or humans to these guys. We are just the commoners.
But it worries me about next week. You know, a Conservative UKIP coalition, and I know there's going to be riots. The poll tax will be nothing on a Conservative UKIP coalition.
It won't be that though. It will not be that. I can guarantee you.
Do you not think?
Yeah.
No, hell no. It will probably be.
I don't think UKIP will win the seats.
I don't think they will either. It's going to be those one weird times, and we're going to be thankful of a first past the post system. One of those weird times. But I think it's going to be either a Labour and an SNP coalition, or a Conservative Lib Dem coalition. It's going to be one of the two.
So, what do you think that after today that the Lib Dems and the Conservatives will be able to work together?
Oh God, yes.
Because I think that Alex, even after his leak.
I think so.
Is that like? I mean, I think it might be a freeway.
Well, having the Lib Dems is just like having a puppy, isn't it? That's all it is. It's like,
I don't think the Lib Dems will win
a puppy, or is he not this year?
They will, not because they're going to get votes. I mean, we got to remember that we're not talking about a democracy here, and a democracy would be 100% right. We're talking about a first past the post system, which means that even if their votes get halved, they're still going to get in.
Do you know that where I live, there's a website where you can see how much your vote's worth?
Oh yeah, I did that.
You know, my vote's
disappointing, isn't it?
Fuck all.
I
Mine-
like
mine in
zero
the-
point zero 0.03 or something.
So who's
Yeah, mine was
voting
0.
who's voting what this year?
0.04.
What are you
Oh,
voting?
Well, I went on the other one.
You're worth more as a person then than I am. You're a 0.01 more.
Yeah.
Mine's solid
I'm even worse.
Labour.
I'm even shorter.
Mine's definitely conservative area.
Oh yeah.
But I've seen some nice Tory billboards up the road, and I've brought some nice white backing paper and some spray adhesive. I'm going up there tonight.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done.
There's 2. I've spotted them. I've cut the size out.
Who
Just got to
are
get
you
up there.
voting then?
Who am I?
Me?
Both of you.
You go first, Pete.
It's shit, isn't it? That's how I feel.
I might just draw pictures on. I might just colour it in.
I know exactly what I'm
I
going to
might
vote.
write my opinion.
I'm
If
going
I
to
was
vote
vote
Green.
for anyone,
Huh?
it would be. Well, see, in my area, you have to. If you want Tories out, the best chance is voting Green, based on because you could do that like there's a website that tells you like a vote swap website where you go in and you put in where you live and they tell you who you need to vote for to get rid of Tories, and Green come up on that.
But
It's
you
like a
shouldn't vote
Labour
for that
and
stuff.
Green
You should vote for
swap.
who you feel. That's the problem with democracy. Is
Well,
people
I know the Green man, but I also know the NHA lady, and she's an independent. Well, the NHA party. She might as well be an independent. They're doctors that are fighting to save the NHS.
vote for them. I wish I had a candidate like that here.
But that's
we-
what that you know. So it's
Where I
like-
live at the minute, right, I've just had a Labour councillor's status come up saying alarming number of postal votes rejected in Ravensthorpe, 1 in 5. Right, that's in my area. And somebody's
listen
put,
to
how
this,
does that
right?
happen? And it said, Ravensthorpe's not a ward that received incorrect postal vote ballot papers. I wonder why this has happened. So here we've got him saying, I
Did you
suspect
hear
an
about
opponent
that?
has been involved and
Incorrect.
inquiries are being made. That's Ravensthorpe.
Did you hear about the? Did you hear about the incorrect postal votes? I meant to raise this actually.
No.
A load of votes went out that do not have, for postal votes, Labour or Green Party on it. You can't vote for the Labour or Green Party candidate. Loads of them went out, and then there was yesterday there was a van with 70,000 ballot papers on stolen, raided.
Right.
So you've now got 70,000 ballot papers that could be marked with anything and put in a ballot box.
Wow. Oh well.
God, they're really going for it, aren't they?
Wow.
Which, you know, this is like next week. This is what, you know, tomorrow we've got the start of Occupy Democracy. There's loads going on tomorrow.
Yep.
Party
they're
through
back
the
in Parliament.
night.
They're back
Going
in
on
Parliament.
over the weekend. It's for the next 10 days over the election.
Well, no, it's
and
Occupy
also
May
the
Day,
same-
isn't it? It's
same-
Occupy May Day is the first one. Occupy Democracy don't start till Saturday, does it?
I
no,
thought
they are.
Friday would be weird.
It starts Friday. Yeah, they've all joined forces. It's got you've got like on the Sunday or no Saturday you've got the guerrilla gardening where they're going to go and do a load of planting, and you've got
Planting where?
bounce the bombs, all Downing Street and Parliament Square. That goes on for 10 days, and also at the same time there's a parents' protest by the New Fathers for Justice, I think, that are occupying David Cameron's constituents for the next 10 days over in Whitney.
Oh, they did that before last year, didn't
They-
they? But they were out there with megaphones, weren't they?
Yeah, so they're having a camp.
Yeah.
And a local candidate is joining them, a local Oxfordshire candidate.
Wow, they are getting
Joining the-
involved, aren't they, lately? It's like, I've had so many knock on my door. I'll admit, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the banter at the front door. It's been fun, especially you, Kip. That was great. That was a lot of
I haven't
relief.
had you,
I
Kip,
find
yet.
less stress in my life. I take it out on the counsellors. I'm knocking on my door.
I had the Tory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he asked me what my sticker meant on my front door.
Did he
And
now?
I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I was like, that means you don't come knocking on my door asking for a Tory vote. I started laying into it.
It's so
Should have
easy.
said Chloe Smith would know.
Oh yeah, she'd know. I said something. I said ask because it was just after the preview. I said something like ask Chloe Smith about that film she was in.
By the way, I looked up an interview with Chloe Smith and Jeremy Paxman, right? I don't normally like Jeremy Paxman, but oh, it was a beautiful interview. Have you ever seen it?
No.
No.
Look at it.
She almost goes into tears because he just rips into her like you can't imagine. Because she, like, I can't remember what it was after 2010, the government made her screw up with the figures. And at one point, he was just like, so you know the figures, but you can't tell us. And then she's like, well, no, they are fully costing. He's like, so you don't know. And she's like, well, no, so you don't know. And then he kept calling, this is an absolute joke, isn't it? You come down here, you're a minister of the cabinet, and you don't know the simple figures of your own department. Rips into her like you can't imagine. So you gotta watch it afterwards. Mr. Chloe Smith v. Jeremy Paxman.
It never changes anything, does it? Because because what happens is we get the truth out of them. Even the banks turn around and went, yeah, you're right, money's a lie, right? And the people just carry on.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care.
They're just, I mean, it's not they don't care, because where does that news go? Because you got to think of it this way, that Jeremy Paxman he's on BBC, right? That interview was on the BBC, and yet not many people, I mean, the BBC gets loads of figures, but the people that get the most figures are the Daily Mail and the Sun. Those are the two papers that people read religiously across the UK. And on those two papers, it doesn't say that money doesn't work. It doesn't say that banks are broke. It doesn't say who owns the Bank of England. All it talks about is celebrity gossip, trashing immigrants, and something else that's probably racist or sexist. So that's what people think. That's the papers that control the British mentality. Not what's on the BBC and not what's on Channel 4. Or what's in The Guardian. Less so what's in The Guardian. No one cares about what's in The Guardian because they're tiny compared to the other big players. But that's the point. Is that these two papers are so huge that even if Jeremy Paxman rips into Chloe Smith in an interview and blatantly shows that she has no idea what she's talking about, people are still going to vote for her because of the Sun and the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
It was funny in the documentary though, weren't it?
They got a few laughs, didn't they?
She's
Did you see the end bit?
act like
when
she's
she
not
was
bothered,
like-
but her face is po.
What?
She was trying to act like she wasn't bothered, but her face was like she was sucking lemons.
The funniest part, right, was when Patrick was like, actually, there are some anonymous people just outside on Parliament Square. And then he was like, well, they were there, and then the police arrested them all and kicked them off, and she kept trying to speak. She just got more and more irritated.
I can't wait to see it, guys. I've got.
She was like, "What was it like? What was it like? Did you show my fat ass?" That's all she keeps asking.
I know. I just couldn't stop going on about that on the day. I was like, they better not do a full frontal. No full frontals. She's like, yeah.
No, I think it went well. But I mean, as I said, you're coming down in May when we do the screening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
I've got some.
And we'll be over at the Parliament over the elections.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's doing London this week, next weekend.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Can't wait. I've got something to put on as well. Somebody's asked me. Ben Westwood has asked me to mentioned that the Kellogg's Crave Choco Roulette petition, where they've got the roulette, they're marketing about the bandit machines and gambling on front of the boxes, basically saying it's a direct eye line of children and being a popular breakfast, and that it's like literally roulette on the front of it. So they're I think Neoliberation, it's at neoliberation.blogspot.co.uk and on change.org, but he wanted to mention it. It's basically stop selling Kellogg's Crave Choco Roulette and gambling related marketing on children's products. So
Sounds fair enough.
thought I'd add that one in there. Yeah.
Oh,
Kellogg's is shit anyway.
I remember
They're the
Kellogg's.
Zionists on occupied land, aren't they?
And Nestle.
Mm. Yeah. All that fracking so they can sell us water. So bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ridiculous when you think about
Did
it.
you hear about their? Did you hear about that? They got their permit was like decades out of date.
Really?
They got shut down. They had to go to court about their permit. They've been getting water for a long from somewhere in America. They'd had a permit, and I'm sure it expired in the 1986 or 1996, something like that. Years ago it expired, but they've been able to continue to collect the water even though they didn't have a permit for all that time.
It's because they got this.
Can't imagine that happening with the commoners. I keep calling myself
I'm more
I'm a
hopeful than
commoner.
you. I'm more hopeful than Kiki in many ways, because I see that 900 McDonald's stores have closed, and I see that Monsanto's shares are going down, and I see Tesco's is struggling, and
Tesco's.
people are waking up to the bullshit, I think.
Or are people just so poor they can't afford anything anymore?
Well, no, I mean,
But that doesn't matter. If that's why they're buying it,
McDonald's.
it will help. Yeah, poor people, they go to McDonald's all the time rather than buy, not all, obviously not all poor people, but I would say that the biggest market is poor people, especially in America where they're offering free vaccines with your McDonald's Happy Meal.
What?
Fucking bad.
What?
In America, and
You're
McDonald's
joking.
was offering free vaccines with your kids' Happy Meals.
But was it free vaccines, as in you had to be vaccinated before you ate the burger because you'd get malaria from the burger?
Quite true. No, I can quite
Or was it? Now, was it a safety precaution on
It
their
was-
This is just getting crazy.
It was because, like, obviously in America you have to pay to vaccinate your children, and there's a lot of anti-vaxxers
And
in
you have
America,
to do it
and
as well.
you've had all these hoo-ha cases nowadays that have been like Disneyland and stuff like that, and McDonald's decided to jump on the bandwagon and offer free vaccinations for people who brought Happy Meals if they wanted.
Someone
So
would
that
reach
it's
over
not
the
just
counter,
that-
take out a muck syringe, and then just stab you with it.
It's not bad enough they're killing us with their GMO chemical slime filth. They want to inject our children with it as well. Sick. They are sick, aren't they?
Get them hooked at an early age.
My God, that's insane. I mean, McDonald's is the food for the impoverished and the drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you walk along, and I'm not joking, right? You get families walking along. I don't know if you feel this as well. And you hear this woman, and she's going, "If you don't stop, I won't get you a McDonald's." And it's like, "Keep going, boy. Keep going. Just
For the
fight
love of
that
God,
bitch.
please."
Fight her." It's like,
I don't know.
it's some sort of reward. Like it's a reward. Like,
And kids shouldn't be obese. I'm sorry, but fat kids should not exist. I don't understand how that works.
no.
But I think
They've got
the
fast
thing I don't get
metabolisms.
is
They've got fast metabolisms.
Mm. Yeah, but the thing is, you've got a lot of GMO foods in schools these days.
I know, my
gosh.
school dinners are terrible.
Yeah. A lot of GMO foods in schools, on the school dinners, and a lot of schools are now refusing to allow packed lunch, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I remember in my school, for example, you had to get a doctor's note before you could get a packed lunch.
Yeah, that is so wrong.
My kids have packed lunch.
Oh yeah.
Just because, right, at the age of, they are now 4 and 6, they get free school dinners if they want it. Now, I would have had it before the free school dinners come in, when the local farm used to cook all the dinners and send them over to the village school.
That's cool.
Then they brought in, yeah, that was cool. That same farm sends in fruit and vegetables and sends in fruit and vegetables to the school that the kids can help themselves to. Then they brought in the free school dinners for under 7s, and they distracted me. They stopped using the farm. They started using local council service. Right now, as a vegetarian, the option is cheese. As a vegan, there is no option. You know, it's like, what do you want today? If you don't eat meat, you can have jacket potato and cheese, or you can have cauliflower cheese, or you can have something else cheese. So I don't. I prefer to just send them in and know what they're eating.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, because they don't do vegetarian meals really.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like cheese, you're pretty screwed.
I'm quite lucky that I do
Oh,
like
I hate it. Oh, it does your head in. It really does your head in.
I like melted cheese.
Where you go, it's crazy. Cheese. It's just cheese and onion pasties all the time.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to go.
I mean, how hard would? Okay.
Oh.
All right. It was good chatting to you. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, nice chatting to you. Yeah.
See you in a bit.
Vitamin C. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.